Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to my review of the Moto G Stylus. This is the 2023 edition, and it is the 4G edition, and that's very important to note because if you are in the market to potentially buy one of these, you want to be sure of the year that you're buying. You know, if you want the latest one, the 2024, and if you want the 5G version, the chipsets in this device will make quite a bit of difference to performance. So if you haven't seen my unboxing of this phone, this is a $50 to $60 phone that can be purchased from Family Dollar, and it is locked to Total by Verizon. I don't have experience with that carrier, but from what I understand, it's pretty good. But their cheapest plan is $40, which is still quite a bit more expensive than US Mobile, but $40 is not too bad. So let's start this review by looking around the device. I do honestly like this color, this blue color. You have the two cameras on the back. You have the flash. On the right side, you have your power button, which is also your fingerprint sensor. You have your volume buttons up and down. On the top, you have a microphone. On the left-hand side, this is where your SIM tray is. That's the only thing on the left side. And on the bottom, you have a headphone jack, your USB-C charging port, and your speaker grill along with another microphone right there. And as far as the build quality, you know, it is a plastic device, but honestly, what can you expect for the price of $50? I think it's very acceptable. It does feel nice in the hand, and of course, like I recommend to everyone, no matter the price of the device, is to get a case, but it does feel nice in the hand. Now, as I was going through this review, the question that was on my mind is, what does this bring to the table for a $50 smartphone? And honestly, I was surprised because it brings quite a lot. Now, let's go ahead and talk about performance and get that out of the way. For someone like me, or maybe like yourself watching this video, you have a decent mid-range phone or upper tier mid-range, maybe even a flagship phone. And the performance on a device like this, coming from a device like that, is not going to be very good. The animations are, choppy. They look decent right now, but it's just not very smooth. This is a 90 hertz display, which means it should be very smooth, but honestly, I don't understand it. I don't feel like it can take full advantage of the 90 hertz. Once you start doing more than really basic tasks, this phone has kind of slight performance hiccups in the animations. But again, the whole census of this review is that it's $50. So I think that's totally acceptable. It's not super laggy. You just have to have some patience while using the device. But I think anyone who is paying $50 for a phone, even if they're an average person, the expectations are probably not very high. It does have 64 gigabytes of storage and 4 gigabytes of RAM, and also I forgot to mention, in the SIM card slot is a micro SD card expansion, which you don't see on a lot of phones nowadays, as well as that headphone jack. You don't see that on most phones nowadays either. Now, as you guys will see, I've done a brightness comparison. This device does not get very bright outdoors, so for someone like me, I would not be able to use a device this dim, but I think for most people and most average people, it's going to be just fine. Battery life here on the Moto G Stylus 2023 is very good, and that's partly because the battery in this is a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which is very large, and also because the display is 720p, which personally I'm not a big fan of. I would have liked to see at least 1080p, but again, I can't really critique this phone too much for the price. Now, for the cameras, you have an 8 megapixel selfie camera, and on the back, you have a 50 megapixel primary camera and a 2 megapixel macro lens. Most people are going to be using that 50 megapixel primary camera. And as far as the quality of the pictures and videos that come out of the front-facing camera, as well as that 50 megapixel primary camera, it's acceptable. I think it's fair to say in good lighting conditions, and that's important to note, this will take some decent photos. You have to remember there's not a super powerful chipset in this device, and the processing of the chipset can make quite a bit of difference in the photos. So let's take a look here. Let's hop into the camera app. As long as you provide this camera with good lighting, you can take some decent photos. with the Moto G Stylus. So let's talk about what this phone brings to the table in terms of software, and one of the biggest ones is going to be the stylus, which we are going to take a look at. But you have some of the most well-known Motorola features here. So if we do a chop chop, you're going to get your flashlight. And if you do the twist, like that, you're going to get your camera. So there's those two gestures. Very nice to see here on a very budget Motorola device. If we go into settings and we go to sound and vibration, there's some neat little features in here if we scroll down to the bottom. So the first one here is you can flip the phone over for do not disturb. So when you flip the phone face down, it will block notifications, calls, and messages. So I think that's a really neat feature. And it's just a simple one. You know, these are simple gestures that I think are pretty easy to remember. Another one here is called pick up to silence. So if your phone is laying down like this and you get a phone call, you know, your ringtone is just blasting out, you pick up the device and it will silence that ringtone so it's not blasting right into your face. That's a really nice one. This one is called media controls. So it allows you to use the volume up and down buttons to control media. You can press and hold the volume up key to go to the next track, and you press and hold the volume down key to go to the previous track. Also, like most Motorola phones, you have the FM radio, which is really neat. And you can connect a pair of earbuds or even just a 3.5 millimeter male-to-male audio cable, and it will act as an antenna and you can listen to the radio. So I'm going to demonstrate to you guys the media controls. YouTube Music. Okay, let's turn that up a little bit. Okay, if we turn this off, we're going to press and hold the volume up button. That's the next track, and you can still control the volume. Now if we press and hold the volume down, that will restart it if that happens. Press and hold it again, and it will take you back to the track we were just listening to. So, really neat there. I really like that. Now, this phone does come with Android 13, and I'm not sure on software updates or anything like that, but I honestly wouldn't count on it. But it's nice to see it has a somewhat recent version of Android, and it also has the May 1st, 2024 security update. So that's pretty recent as well, so I'm happy to see that here on a very budget phone. And upon checking for updates here on the Moto G Stylus, it appears that the July 2024 security patch is now available, so that's even better to see. I'm not sure how consistent Motorola will be with this. So let's go ahead and talk about the stylus a little bit. I do like kind of the clicky button. Now this may be something people lose. You know, I do kind of fear that. You know, that's definitely possible. But you can see once we take the stylus out, we have some shortcuts here. You can change these, so if you go down here at the bottom of this panel and you tap the little settings cog, you can change these around. You have the Moto Note shortcut, screenshot, Google Keep Notes, a GIF maker, and the handwriting application, which we will take a brief look at. But as you can see, there's plenty of options here. You can add pretty much any application to the stylus shortcuts bar. So if we go back into the settings and we go into stylus, you see here I have enabled the ability to use the stylus to directly write into text boxes, and I'll show you guys how that works. So if we go into the Play Store and let's say we want to search for something, do you see how the keyboard does not pop up? Subway. And it will put that text into the text box, and we can say surfers. There we go. You can also choose what you want the stylus to do when the device is locked. For me, I have it set to open Moto Note. Do we have to put the stylus back in? Let's see here. Okay, if we get it out, can we just start taking a note? Oh, we can. So you see how once we took the stylus out, it launched the notes, so we can say, hello, this is a demonstration. I'm sorry about my handwriting. Oh, no, I can't even fit the N. But you guys get the point. It's really nice. And if you prefer other note-taking apps, you can set it to keep notes or don't do anything. And again, here was the shortcuts I was talking about, so you can also access that from within the settings. Or you can tap the little pen icon right here. And if you hit the settings cog down at the bottom of that, like I showed you guys, you can get exactly right here. So let's say minus the GIF maker, and I want to add in, can we do YouTube? Yes, we can. There we go. There's YouTube. So if we scroll back up, there's YouTube, and I believe you can kind of, apparently you can't you can rearrange them. There we go, just like that. So now we have YouTube in there, and you can also move this around if you want it in a different location. I want to move it kind of slightly up high right there. So now if we open our shortcuts, we have YouTube there, and we can launch into that. And I like this setting here. You can get a reminder when the stylus has been removed for a long period of time without use. So that kind of helps people not completely forget, you know, if they've placed it down somewhere in their house or at work. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. I'm not sure how well it works. It says here it will collect location data even when the app is closed or not in use. So it can record the last location that you remove the stylus. So I'm just going to click cancel for now, but you can definitely turn that on. I haven't paid much attention to this, but apparently you can turn on to play a sound while you're writing with the stylus in Moto Note, vibrate when the stylus is inserted. So once you put the stylus in, there's a little haptic feedback letting you know that it's all the way in. And just make sure that when you guys do insert it, you click it all the way. So lots of cool little features with the stylus. I think a lot of people will like that. So, you know, that is a big perk of this device. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it. But I think most people will get curious and give it a try. And it does have lots of neat little features. Now, the Moto G Stylus did come with a decent amount of bloatware. Luckily, I was able to uninstall most of it, but it was like a lot of little games. Now, that's not too bad. Some of the things on here I don't fully agree with, like the weather app. I mean, at least it's there, and I guess for the person that this device is aimed at, they don't have to go and download a weather app, but it doesn't mean it's a good one just because it's included, you know. For me, I would rather the phone just come with the bare essentials similar to a Google Pixel and leave more control in the hands of the user to download the apps they want to. But I guess it's okay to have these apps pre-installed, even the games that I have gotten rid of. You know, I do like how the phone is, it is simple to use. I like how the settings app is pretty easy to understand. You have the name of the main setting as well as a brief description underneath of what that setting contains if you were to click on it. You have plenty of quick toggles to choose from, so a lot of the standard ones like Wi-Fi, airplane mode, Bluetooth, auto rotate. One of the ones I liked was being able to quickly tap this and go into system update. So there's that security update from earlier. You have night light, an alarm, so you can quickly jump in and set an alarm. You have a GIF maker. Now, I've not tried that out. I'm not really a person who's much on making GIFs, but it's nice to see. Also, you can do screen recordings. Here is the toggles to enable microphone and camera access. You can scan a QR code. So if we tap on that, it will launch the QR code scanner. So there's an included app called Family Space, which I haven't used, but it will allow you to have more control over a child's device. You know, you can link it in this app that you can have kind of more parental controls over a child's device. I think the main advantage of a phone like this is just affordability. You know, being able to go to a store like Family Dollar, which has like over 8,000 locations, and being able to walk out the door with a smartphone that admittedly It might not do everything that a flagship phone like the OnePlus Open can do, or it might not be as good as an iPhone 15 Pro Max, but it can do a lot of the essential things that those devices can do for a fraction of the cost. And if you were to get a service plan, you can be out the door with this phone and a month of service for like $100. And I think that is the main attraction of this device. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you have this device, let me know how it's been treating you, and I will see you in the next video.